Hi, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am baking my way through the Great British Baking Show Love to Bake cookbook, and I'm very excited to have you with me. If you're not new, welcome back. And we are going to make some Dahi Puri. Dahi Puri is what I Googled. If I said that wrong still, I apologize. Um, okay, so it's like, I don't know, it looks like a little fried donut almost. It should be good. So I have 250 grams of plain flour sifted in my bowl already, and I have 60 grams of melted butter. And all I'm going to do is just add the melted butter and mix with my fingers until combined. Okay, it didn't say anything about rubbing it together or mixing it to a certain point. It just said till combined. So there we are. In my saucepan back here, I have some milk and yogurt gently warming, 1 tablespoon of milk, and let's see, 100 grams of full fat natural yogurt. I'm using Greek yogurt. I'm not really sure if there's a difference between natural or not. But so I'm just going to gently warm this. It doesn't necessarily say that I need to heat it up. Just basically, I would assume just take the chill off is what I'm thinking. Okay, so I think that's gently warmed. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add this to my flour mixture. Okay, stir into the flour and then bring the mixture together with your hands, kneading to form a smooth ball. So once this comes together a little bit more, I'll knead it into a smooth ball. It does say to add a little bit more milk if needed to bring it together. So I'm just going to splash a little bit more milk in there. Hopefully that will bring up my smooth ball together a little bit better. It also said you could add more flour, but mine is just on the dry side, not the sticky side. All right, it's decently smooth. It also says to make sure not to over knead. So, I mean, it's not the smoothest ball, but I don't want to over knead it. So we do need to let it rest for an hour. So I'm just going to put it in here. It doesn't say anything about cover. Oh, it does say cover. So cover and rest for an hour. Okay, while the dough is resting, I do need to make the syrup. So I have 200 grams of castor sugar in my saucepan, and then I'm going to add 180 milliliters of water, a large pinch of cardamom. I'm not really sure what a large pinch is versus a small pinch. Okay, and this recipe calls for you to add saffron as well. I had intended to put saffron on it in it until I realized exactly how expensive saffron is. I knew it was expensive. I did not know that it was going to be $18 for a little jar. So I was not that committed, I guess. So no saffron in here for me. If you have it, great. Put it in there. But so you would put it in right now. A small pinch. I am supposed to stir this over a medium heat until the sugar dissolves. It would appear that my sugar has dissolved, but the next step is to reduce the heat and simmer for 5 minutes. And I'm not simmering, so I'm not really going to reduce my heat. So I'll give it a little bit longer, but I might actually have to turn up my heat to get it to simmer. Okay, it has been simmering for about 5 or 6 minutes. I did not touch my heat. I left it on medium. It did eventually start to simmer, so I did end up turning it down after it did that for a little bit. It says until it's syrupy. I'm never really a good judge of that. It looks maybe slightly thicker than it was. It's been on there for about 6 minutes though. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my heat, and then I do need to add some rose water to this. So it's a quarter of a teaspoon of rose water. If you don't know where to get rose water, check your Asian market. That is where I found some here. So, and then we're just going to stir this in. So that's stirred in, and I just need to let this cool completely. And so, all right, the Dahi Puri dough has been resting for an hour, so I'm ready to roll it and make the little cutouts. So the first thing it says to do is to divide it into 4. So I'm assuming it just wants me to do it a little bit at a time instead of, rolling it all out at once. So I'm just going to do that. Do one at a time. Put those other ones back in here. I need to just flatten this out to 2 millimeters thick. And then I take a 5 centimeter cutter and just get as many in as I can. And I'm just going to put them on this sheet. It says it doesn't matter if they overlap. So I'm just going to throw them on there. All right. I've got, it says it makes 50. That looks it's a lot. Now my favorite part of these proceedings is always when we have to fry things. I'm not the best at that. So I've got these guys ready to go. I've got oil. It says using either a wok or a deep pan. So I've got a deep pan to put oil in it to about 3 centimeters deep. I probably don't have it that deep. I just don't like using that much oil. So now I'm going to put enough of these in it to just cover the surface. If you've seen my ring donuts one, you know I'm only going to start with 1 or 2. Oh, that's really interesting. Okay, so it says to fry them on one side for 30 to 45 seconds until puffed up and golden. They definitely are puffing up, which is really cool. I'm sad if you can't actually see the puffing up part. But then we'll flip. It's not quite golden, but I don't want to overbake them. Okay, that's pretty cool though. They're frying really nicely. And then we'll just set those on kitchen paper. It says to drain. Parchment paper. All right, I think that looks good. Let's fry up a batch. Okay, that looks really good. Like, I'm quite proud of that. So we'll just keep going until they're all done. Now that they are fried, we're supposed to dip them in the cooled syrup. It doesn't necessarily say if I'm supposed to let them cool. So anyway, I'm just gonna throw in some. I mean, the ones I literally just got out of the thing are not done, but and then just let it drain on kitchen paper, it says. So just gonna throw a bunch in there and toss them around a little. Okay, here is my last set out of the syrup. So there they are. They look really pretty. I'm actually kind of, I don't know. I'm not very good at frying things, so I'm just kind of surprised. Let's give one a taste, shall we? Look at that. Oh, tastes like a little donut. I like that. It's very simple. I don't know if the saffron would have given it a little bit more of a kick or what. There's not a ton of like crazy flavor. Even the rose water didn't seem to give it a lot, which I don't know. It tastes fine to me. Sweet, very sweet. There's a lot of sugar in that syrup, but it tastes good. I like those. Anyway, that is my latest bake in my Great British Baking Show cookbook, Love to Bake. My challenge is moving right along. If you got this far, please like this video and subscribe so you can see when my next video will come out. And, you know, take a look in the description below for some of my favorite kitchen tools and the recipe for the Dahi Puri. Anyway, I will see you next bake.